talk about fears. Let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
So I'm asked all the time, Detective Mains, what can I do to keep my stuff off the internet? All my personal information. Well, I don't like that stuff out there. I don't want people to know my voting preference. I don't want people to know my cell phone number. I don't want people to know my address. I'm a private person. I don't want that stuff out there for people to take advantage of me. That's why I use Data Seal. Okay? It personally is the comprehensive data removal service that I trust. So use the link below to receive 5% off of your Data Seal subscription and protect you and your family. If you have concerns that your personal information is being exposed online, use Data Seal. It's the one that I trust and I use personally. So listen guys, there's a link in the bio and in the comment sections. Click on that link and you'll get 5% off of your subscription. So make sure you go ahead and do that. So this crime happened in Noel, Missouri. It's a population of less than 1,000, so it's a real small town. On October 6th, 1989, a bank employee shows up, notices that the door is unlocked, and when she enters, she sees the vault is wide open and there's some papers strewn about. You know, obviously the bank has been robbed. They tried to get a hold of the bank. I'm not sure he's the bank president or the bank manager, but his name is Dan Short. Now, Dan's not answering his phone. So there's some concern because there's only 3 people that know the combination or have keys to that vault. 2 of them are accounted for, but 1 is not. So right off the bat, as an investigator, you know, you're thinking, could this guy be involved? Let's learn more about him. So, you know, right off the bat, as an investigator, you kind of want to dive into, okay, who is this Dan Short? Look at his victimology, and you determine, well, he has just recently, within, I believe it was 18 months, so maybe a year, has separated from his wife that he had for a long time. He had been drinking a little bit more than usual from the research that I did, and that's not unusual. I know many people who have gone through divorces and stuff, and unfortunately they think that they have to, you know, solve their problem with the imbibance of alcohol at a much more than normal level. Hey, who am I to judge how somebody goes about solving their problems? But I will say, no matter how much you drink and how much you imbibe that night, the problem will still be there in the morning. So you learn this about Dan. He is in charge of denying loans, extending credit for the bank. So in that managerial type of position, you're going to create, you know, enemies. It's just part of it. Especially, you know, when it comes to money. People kill because of money. Greed, jealousy, rage. And unfortunately, he has to take the brunt of that if he has to deny somebody a loan, deny somebody credit. So your suspect pool, you know, if Dan cannot be found, is great. But we're still focusing on Dan and his position at the bank. Why is he not answering? Some more work has to be done. Well, what's the next step as an investigator? You're going to go to Dan Short's home. That's what they do. But when they get there, something ain't right. Where his vehicle normally sits there is debris, like somebody had like brushed out his truck and left everything out there on the ground. Inside the house, his glasses that he wore all the time are there in the nightstand or dresser where he always kept them. House looks like it's ransacked. Maybe a struggle took place. Okay, your spidey senses go up a little bit more. Okay, there's a bank robbery. This guy's stuff is out of whack. You know, in my mind, if I'm there, I'm still keeping the possibility, hey, Dan Short's still a suspect for this bank robbery. You know, he's gone. He has keys to the vault. But go back to the vault, and one of the bank personnel says, hey, there's a secret compartment. Yeah, you guys didn't know banks had that, right? So in the vault, there's a secret compartment that has $100,000 cash in it. It's still there. Dan knew about that. Okay, so if he was involved, why didn't he take that? Instead, the robbers took about $71,000 in cash, but they also took $4,000 worth of coin. Do you guys know how much $4,000 worth of coin weighs? Well, I'll tell you, it weighs 320 pounds. So right there, you can start deducing some things. Okay, these guys are probably guys, number one, probably not female, although there are plenty of female who can lift 320 pounds. It's a grueling endeavor. Going to probably take several trips. So, for me, I'd be looking for younger guys, younger males. That's about as far as you can deduce from there. And that in itself is not foolproof. You can't just narrow yourself on that, but in a general direction, that's what you can start thinking. So, the evidence inside the bank. There was 2 spent shell casings, .45 caliber, on the bank floor. The security camera in the bank had been spray painted black and turned around. Now, what I would want to know is what that camera caught before it was spray painted. But apparently it didn't catch anything because there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects. The only evidence at the scene of the bank is 2 spent shell casings. Now, I would originally think right off the bat, okay, why is there 2 shell casings here? Where's the blood? Who got shot in the bank? Well, turns out nobody got shot in the bank. The robber or robbers shot the security camera. I find this very odd because you've already spray painted the security camera. You've already turned it around, but then you shoot it. That's how I understood this as I researched it. And if that's the case, you can start deducing some other things. Possibly there's some sort of anger involved here because you've already took care of the problem. Much like other crimes like overkill of a victim. Okay, let's say the offender shoots the victim in the head. They're dead. They're done. The crime is over. But yet, now the offender takes a knife and stabs them 15 times in the chest. That tells you something about the offender. It tells you that there's some sort of anger involved here because you're doing more than is necessary for the commission of the crime. Your goal is to kill this person. You've done that. But now you're taking extra steps. So, go back to the bank vault. If the offender shot the same security camera that was spray painted and turned around, that's anger or that's amateur. That's what that tells me. Somebody that is not a sophisticated criminal. Now, if I came to find out later on that it was a second security camera, maybe that they didn't know about or didn't see, and it's capturing everything and they shot it, okay, well that's different. But I don't think that's the case here, because if that was the case, why they're doing everything else and they don't know about this camera back here behind me, and then they see it and shoot it, it would still capture the footage, right? So I believe they shot the same camera that they already blacked out and that they already turned around. So I'm looking at somebody that's, I'm going to say, younger, amateur, or had a lot of anger maybe towards the bank. And that could get you a lot of places because of Dan's position. So that's what we have. That's it. Not a lot to go on, right? Where's Dan Short?